All right, so breaking news, as I just mentioned just moments ago, Democrat Katie Hobbs has been officially determined to have defeated Republican Kari Lake in the race for Arizona's governor. Now, there are still ballots coming in, but Decision Desk HQ calling the race officially as the latest ballots dropped just minutes ago in Maricopa County. Let me just give you a sense of what the votes were. So this is where we are currently in terms of the total vote count. You can see that Katie Hobbs is up by about 20,000 votes. 97% of the vote is in. How are they able to project this at this point? Well, Kari Lake needed something like 60+% of the latest drop of 100,000 or so votes that had just come in. She did not get that. She got 56.82%. And so with only 3% of the vote remaining and Kari Lake down by 20,000 or so votes, that makes it, according to Decision Desk HQ and others, statistically impossible for Kari Lake, based on where the additional votes are going to be coming in from, to win this election. Now, the question is, what is she going to do about that? Before I continue, I want to make another point here, which is very important in conjunction with these new numbers that we are just getting in right now. In addition to the Kari Lake race, there is also in a congressional race, a Trump-endorsed incumbent GOP Representative David Schweikert is leading his Democratic challenger, Jevin Dodge, by 3,008 votes, with 97% in Arizona. And in another race, another Republican, Juan Kiscomani, is leading the Democrat by 3,500 votes for an open seat there. So the question, of course, is if there was fraud in the state of Arizona, as Kari Lake has suggested, why did they just focus on her race and maybe the Senate race? But they didn't do it for the House races as well, which could have now, as it turns out, determined the outcome of the control for the House. So these numbers just coming into us as we speak. Now, under Arizona law, an automatic recount is triggered if the margin of victory is half a percentage point or less. It is starting to look like it may not even fall within that. We shall see by the time the rest of the numbers come in. It used to be just 0.1 of a percentage point. Official recounts in Arizona, though, have not led to major changes in the numbers. Of those in the last 10 years, they've generally affirmed the initial outcome. In August, 3 votes separated a Maricopa County Justice of the Peace race. A recount affirmed that 3-vote margin. In 2016, in a Republican congressional primary, they came down to single digits. Congressman Andy Biggs won 11 more votes after a second machine tabulation and a hand count. In 2010, a ballot measure passed by 126 votes triggered a statewide recount, which then changed the results by a dozen votes, but not the outcome. Remember, of course, that highly partisan recount conducted by a private firm hired by the state Senate Republican caucus in Arizona for the 2020 presidential election, in which Biden had carried the state by 0.4 percentage points, found the official tally was off by a handful of votes, which would have given Biden a slightly larger victory. Despite that, Lake has seemingly been trying to sow doubt about the vote count. She has just tweeted in the last hour, shouldn't election officials be impartial? The guys running the election have made it their mission to defeat America First Republicans. Unbelievable. Basically, she's saying that they have cheated her. And remember, including on Election Day, remember when there were some polling errors that experienced issues with their printers?
This is incompetency. I hope it's not malice, but we're going to fix it. We're going to win. And when we win, there's going to be a come to Jesus for elections in Arizona. There's going to be a come to Jesus.
And it seems, though, again, I'd like the breaking banner to go back up because we're just getting this in the last few minutes, that it is now seeming she is not going to be the governor and is not going to have that authority anymore. Now, after she made that comment, and again, in a moment, I'm going to talk to someone who knows Kari Lake well to see what her next play is going to be here, now that we and others are projecting that she is not going to win that governor's race. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.